The forest was already ancient when the first ember of sunlight touched its canopy. A world untouched by human footsteps. A world that breathed in thunder. And deep inside it, a creature stirred. Not the biggest, not the fastest, but one whose story almost vanished when time tried to bury it. They called her Asteria, a lone Troodon, no taller than a child, but with eyes sharp enough to read the world like a map. Tonight, her world held only one truth: survive, or become another forgotten shadow in the dirt. The air trembled before the danger arrived. Asteria felt it first, vibrations curling through the ground like a warning whispered from the bones of the earth. The night insects silenced themselves. Leaves froze mid-tremble. Something massive was moving through the darkness. She pressed her body against the trunk of a conifer, heart pounding, breath shallow. The scent of wet ferns and ancient resin filled her lungs. Somewhere beyond the trees, a low growl rolled like distant thunder. Not a predator she could outrun. Not one she could hide from for long. Asteria knew this forest better than any giant. She knew the twisted roots that formed secret tunnels, the pockets of glowing fungi that lit hidden trails, and the abandoned dens carved generations before her. But tonight, the forest felt wrong. The air was warmer. The wind carried the metallic scent of ash. And the sky, usually thick with stars, shimmered with faint orange dust drifting from above. Something else was coming. Something bigger than any predator. She sprinted through the undergrowth, claws tapping softly against the soil. Moonlight slipped through the branches, glinting off her feathers. Each shadow taunted her. Each sound felt like the breath of something ancient leaning over her shoulder. She wasn't running from the predator anymore. She was running towards something she didn't understand. The ground shook again, harder this time. Asteria stumbled. Birds exploded into the sky. The trees groaned as if something deep beneath them had awakened. She reached a ridge that overlooked the valley and froze. Fire. Not flames she'd seen from lightning storms. This was different, falling from the heavens themselves. Rain, made of burning stones. They slammed into the far edge of the valley, sending dust clouds spiraling toward the stars. One impact flashed so bright it lit the entire landscape in ghost-white light. Asteria blinked, stunned. Her predator, the one who had stalked her through the night, stood at the edge of the trees behind her. A young Dakota raptor, feathers bristling, eyes locked on the same apocalyptic horizon. And for one breath, they were both just animals trying to understand the sky falling apart. The raptor hissed, unsure whether to fight or flee. But Asteria didn't move. She felt the heat rolling across the valley. She felt the forest tremble beneath her feet. She felt the world holding its breath. And in that moment, she understood. Predators, prey, giants, the small, the fierce, the gentle. None of it mattered anymore. Only one thing mattered now. Finding a way to live when the world itself was dying. The raptor bolted first, instinct screaming. Asteria followed, weaving through the trees, dodging embers drifting down like fiery snowflakes. The forest that once sheltered her now cracked open with falling branches and burning sap. But Asteria didn't stop. Not when the sky roared. Not when the earth split. Not when time itself seemed ready to erase everything it had ever created. She pushed through smoke and chaos until she reached a cavern hidden beneath a fallen hillside. An old nesting den long abandoned. Inside, the air was cool, still, safe. She huddled near the stone wall, trembling, listening to the outside world tear itself apart. Hours passed, or maybe days. When she finally stepped out, the forest she knew was gone. Ash drifted like winter snow. Silence smothered the land. Even the wind felt different, like it was morning. But Asteria, she was alive. A small creature in a massive, broken world. One whisper of life in a place that should have ended. She walked across the quiet earth, not as prey, not as survivor, but as a reminder that even when worlds fall, something always rises. Her footprints, tiny, almost invisible, pressed into the soft ash. And millions of years later, long after her species vanished, long after every roar had faded, someone found those prints, pressed into stone.
Perfect. Still eternal.
A forgotten story, remembered again. The world thought the giants told the tales of prehistory, but sometimes it was the smallest life that carried the loudest echo.